We are here at the Slovakia ring with the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. As you can see, this famous triangle, 14 turns, 5.99 kilometers of pure action. Our racetrack's back on track here at the Slovakia ring. So the Portuguese driver, José Eduardo Rodrigues, he had a quite good weekend at Misano, and right now the Portuguese flag is up again here at the Slovakia ring.
I win the 3 races of the 4, and it's a good weekend for me and for my team. The track is very difficult, but I will try the best result for the team and me, and we'll see tomorrow.
We're very happy with the Misano results, you know. We did second, third on Saturday and 6th and 1st on Sunday. But, title contender, I will think in that, you know, why not? Why not? I will push hard to do it. I think it's very close, everything up there, you know. With Keys, with Jochen, with Sacha.
So let's create some memorable moments, hopefully with sunshine, because the weather predictions are so and so. But what is for sure is that we got 2 qualifyings, 4 races, and we are so happy to be back here at the Slovakia ring. So everyone is getting prepped for the first qualifying this weekend. We do have 2 qualifyings for you and of course 4 races, and we are so happy to be back here in this triangular shaped track. It was very tough being competing on Superpole. What did you miss? It was just a bit.
Yeah, every time it's a little bit so. But the good point is we make a step from yesterday to today, a big step. And it's every time a little bit, and 1/1000th per second. It's not enough to beat him.
We have to figure out what we could do different so that we can keep the performance at least for a second lap, you know, in the Superpole, because it's very important. The Superpole is the most important, and I am not happy with that. You know, that I did a worse lap time in the Superpole than what I could do in the normal qualifying before. So that's something that we have to think about.
It is raining right now since 1 minute, and it's really tough conditions right now for the drivers, but it's going to be very much interesting. We're going to see the first race going on, and let's have a look at all the contestants here. You see already Frank in the pace truck.
So race 1 got underway in very different conditions to what we all expected. The pace truck led us round for our usual first lap, and then the drivers would be scratching their heads wondering what to do next in terms of a setup and how to handle these conditions from behind the wheel. We would go racing though under yellow flag conditions for just 1 lap to make sure everybody found their feet, and we kept the race nice and safe. Norbert Kish led away Jochen Hahn, and the 2 of them would start to have a bit of daylight between the pair of them by the time we completed the first lap. As it ticked over to 7 laps to go though, Norbert Kish could now really get his foot down and open the taps, and he left a massive trail of spray and everybody else behind. Drivers were cautious in the opening stages though, taking wider lines through the corners, not exactly aiming right at the apexes. Trying to find that wet line around the outside of the corners was key here. Andrei Kursim chasing down José Eduardo Rodrigues. As he tried to get by though around the outside of turn 10, it all went wrong, and Andrei was off for an excursion into the gravel trap. He was able to continue though with a light bit of damage on the front right of the truck that was just bodywork really, and unfortunately for him it was going to be a bit of a tough start to his weekend, but still he remained in high hopes for the rest of it. Sasha Lenz was chasing down Antonio Albacete, and the 2 of them were actually battling for second place after Jochen Hahn had been off in the early laps. Sasha's bright purple number 3 machine was shining in the sunshine as it certainly got brighter towards the end of the race. But the three of them were all closing in on one another, and we were looking forward to a great battle into the last couple of laps. Sasha eventually got alongside Antonio out of turn 3, but was pushed onto the grass slightly on the exit as the two of them scrabbled for grip wherever they could find it. Sasha was going for the move into the last couple of corners, but it was Norbert Kish taking the checkered flag once again and getting himself right back up there in the championship fight after a difficult time at Misano. He and his fans around the circuit were very, very pleased, especially as we unfortunately weren't able to go racing at the Hungaroring this year, so a lot of Hungarian fans were present here in Slovakia. It was great to see. Norby, a very happy man, a great way to start his weekend, and he went over to celebrate with the team and speak to Christina.
Good race from us, I think. In the rain it worked very well again, and already I see on the yellow flag lap that Johan couldn't keep up, which is, you know, a good sign usually. And then after the green flag I started to push and pull away.
So Norbert Kish wins the first race of the weekend by over 20 seconds from Antonio Albacete, who carries forward great form from Misano, with Sasha Lenz in third place. Jochen Hahn will be frustrated with the mistake that dropped him down to fourth position, while Steffi Halm got a solid fifth place. Jamie Anderson returns to the championship in great form in sixth position and does a really good job to get his weekend underway.
See, there's a dark cloud there, but the rain radar says it's going to be here so at 6 p.m. So let's get started. This is race number 2 in this weekend, which means we do have a reverse grid. Who ended up on 8th position is right now starting on the first position, which is the Portuguese Rodrigues, and right alongside him is going to be Andre Kursen competing in the first row.
Maybe we get rain for the second race, maybe we don't get rain, we don't know, we have to wait and we will see.
With grey skies overhead, a lot of us were all expecting to see another colossal rain shower like we had before race 1. But as the pace truck led away Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Andre Kursim, we were all hopeful that it was going to continue to be a completely dry race. The two frontrunners would also be hoping for a nice clean encounter as well, with no dramas. Yeah, good luck in race 2 with the reverse grid. Jamie Anderson got a great start and immediately put pressure on Andre Kursim, while Jose Eduardo held the inside line and Sasha Lenz ran a little bit wide and held on to his 6th position in the meantime. There was a bit of contact between Jamie Anderson and Steffi Halm, nothing too untoward though, just fighting for what little space there was on the circuit. Into turn 3, it was one massive pack of trucks all in one place. Portuguese driver Rodriguez getting pushed out wide by Steffi Halm. He would end up on the grass and lose a lot of positions from his original pole position start. Norbert Kish just about avoiding disaster as well, as he went around the outside and then the inside of Sasha Lenz. Jamie Anderson also trying to get his elbows out in the early exchanges. It was action-packed racing though, and what everybody had come to see. Jochen Hahn had had a fantastic first couple of laps as well and found himself on the back of Andre Kursim, the two Ivecos breaking away at the front of the field. Norbert Kish had Antonio Albacete to get through next, and it would take him a couple of laps before he could get past the Spanish legend. Sasha Lenz was also on his coattails, hoping that he could take advantage of any overtaking manoeuvres that were going on in front. Antonio was having his own battle as well, hoping to get past Jamie Anderson in the meantime, but it wasn't going to be easy with Jamie's newfound form in a great return to the series. Jochen Hahn eventually got through into the race lead down the inside of Andre Kursim into turn 1, and he would do everything within his power to disappear over the horizon and get away from Norbert Kish. Norby was still relentless though and getting past Antonio Albacete and setting his sights on Jamie Anderson. He seemed really good at getting a decent run out of turn 8 on this circuit, and that was his main opening opportunity to then have an attack out of turn 9 and here into turn 10. Before long he was right behind Andrej Kurzim and eyeing up the potential of a second race victory of the weekend, but the heavens opened at Slovakia Ring and that did anything but pay into Jochen Hahn's favour. Norby seemingly got even quicker in the wet conditions and certainly showed his mastery and control of this fantastic machine. Jochen defended as hard as he could though, but as mentioned, out of turn 8, Norbert just had superior traction, was smooth on the throttle and just nipped by before they got through to turn 9 and then turn 10, and the Hungarian was back in the lead. Just mere corners later though, there would be a full course yellow brought out, which Jochen Hahn would have hated to see, because then the race finished under full course yellow conditions and Norbert Kish won 2 on the bounce in front of his fans. Jochen Hahn finished in second position, with Andrej Kurzim taking a very well-earned podium for Don't Touch Racing. He and the team would be very, very happy with that one.
How could you train raining conditions?
No, I think it's in the head, you know. You can say, oh, the brakes or something. No. It's in the head. You must feel it, you must trust it, and then you can go on the limit or not over the limit, you know, and that's what I have. And okay, then you cannot win when you have a mistake. It's second place, happy, that's it.
So another very convincing victory for Norbert Kish, unfortunately under yellow flag conditions, but Jochen Hahn in second place and Andrej Kurzim third, both happy with another podium to add to their tallies. Jamie Anderson finished fourth ahead of Antonio Albertetti, with Sasha Lenz wondering what might have been from that second race of the day and hoping for more as the weekend went on.
We're standing here right in the paddock, and as you can see, Antonio Albertetti's truck is there's still something to do.
We blew a turbo in the warm-up, so with the high-speed corners here, it's really difficult with the oil pressures, and then the first thing to go is the turbo, so we put some more oil in. I know it sounds quite amateurish, but if we put more oil in, then it throws out what it doesn't want, and we maybe just lost a little bit too much yesterday, and then first thing we lost today was the turbo. So.
So you're very, very fast this weekend. How confident are you?
Well, you know, it's looking good so far. Yesterday in the rain for sure, it was very nice for us. Today it's dry conditions now, which was a little bit difficult yesterday, but not today. In the qualifying we were again very fast. I'm not sure what kind of a mistake the others did do, but they did better lap times before, so okay.
Everybody headed into the third race of the weekend with high hopes that it was going to stay dry, and it was Norbert Kish once again on pole position with Sasha Lenz alongside him. Antonio Albertetti had qualified third, but Jochen Hahn had qualified all the way down in sixth position. It wasn't quite what he had in mind, so he was working hard to stay amongst it in the opening stages down towards turn 1. Jamie Anderson and Steffi Halm were side by side in the middle of the pack as well, after both qualifying very well inside the top 5, but it was Norbert Kish stretching his legs at the front of the field, while the others all jostled for position behind and tried to find a space to brake as late as they dared down towards turn 3. Sasha Lenz was hoping to keep Norby in his eyesight, but it looked like the Hungarian was going to streak away at the front once again. It became very apparent though after the first couple of corners that there seemed to be a truck missing, and there was a red flag as Jose Eduardo Rodriguez had gone off on his own into the gravel, later admitting that he'd just gone in a little bit too hot into turn 1. Luckily he was recovered very quickly, and for his own sake as well, very lucky to get another chance at the race. The restart would be taken with the original grid basically put back how it was, so some drivers would have to do more work and get back through up to the places that they'd gained, and others would be very grateful to have another shot at a start after not making it so good the first time round. Everybody was right on the mark, shouting go and planting their foot. And the race was back underway. It was Jamie Anderson making the early moves, trying to get down the inside of Antonio Albertetti, while he went down the inside of Steffi Halm. She was going for third position. Norbert Kish and Sascha Lenz both broke away at the front round the first corner, but unseen by us at the time, there was contact, which meant Steffi Halm was off into the gravel, but the race would continue. Her truck was not able to be moved, and the field would carry on. Jochen Hahn had dropped a bunch of places though, clearly involved in the incident at the first corner, and the same goes for Jamie Anderson. He was carrying some damage to the front right corner of his truck. So Jochen was fighting back through the field from the off, getting away from the Promoters Cup drivers and seeing what he could do to catch the lead pack. Meanwhile, while covered by yellow flags down at turn 1, there was a fantastic recovery effort going on to get Steffi out of the gravel. The lead battle in the Promoters Cup fight was going on as well, with Stefan Faas trying to get past Louis Requenco, trying down the inside here into turn 8. Eventually the German would get through, but the Spaniard put up a very good defence against the rest of the field as well, trying as hard as he could, as John Newell soon found his way past as well. Or at least he tried. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was on the comeback as well after another poor start down at turn 1. He'd got caught up in the mayhem and had to slam on the brakes to make sure he didn't go into any of the spinning trucks, but after a little move here down the inside of John Newell and contact with the barrier for the latter, he would be under investigation by the stewards for a long time after. John, of course, not very happy with the contact, and he would try to get the truck back and bring it into the pit lane, but unfortunately a couple of corners later would be back into the gravel and not completing the race. The yellow flags remained down at turn 1, but it was Norbert Kish that would take the checkered flag and take his third race victory on the bounce and his third race victory of the weekend. It was certainly looking like an absolute belter for him and the team, and a potential to do the Grand Slam.
So how did you manage to just keep going after the restart?
Oh yeah, well, it was good. I knew that the start would be important, so we had to do it again, but the second start was very good for me as well, so I could go clear in front. And then, I just tried to manage the tires in these very, very long right turns that I don't burn the tires. And it was working well. I could build a gap, so good race. Very thankful for Reves team, for Reves Racing, for the good track, and really happy with the results so far this weekend.
Another fantastic victory for Norbert Kish, then lights to flag, nearly 6 seconds ahead of Sascha Lenz, who takes a very well-earned second position. Antonio Albertetti rounding out the podium ahead of the 3 German drivers, Andre Kursim, Jochen Hahn and Stefan Faas, who takes a victory in the Promoters Cup. Very importantly ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and Louis Requenco takes another Promoters Cup podium as well. Those 3 definitely becoming the 3 favourites in the Promoters Cup fight this year. Mark Taylor and Jamie Anderson completed the top 10 in race 3 of the weekend.
The situation for you right now, starting second week?
It's changed day quite different. I wasn't expecting to get on the front row. Finishing where I finished, I was happy with that. But after different results and now I sit now, it's made a really fantastic weekend for us all.
After penalties were applied from race number 3 of the weekend to Louis Requenco and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, the entire field was looking forward to seeing what Mark Taylor and the aforementioned Louis Requenco could do from the front of the grid in terms of holding on to their positions. Jochen Hahn would certainly try and make it difficult for them, starting from the second row of the grid, but Stefan Faas was also a threat in the Promoters Cup, starting right near them at the front of the field. Louis Requenco held on to the race lead though and stretched out a bit of a gap in the opening lap, but Jochen Hahn would certainly be chasing him down. In the meantime, there was contact between Jamie Anderson and his teammate for this year, Sascha Lenz, the two of them coming together as Team Lowenpower for the 2023 season. The whole field kept it nice and tidy though in the opening corners, and now it was a case of just seeing where you could fit in and where you could get into the massive train. Mark Taylor, though, unfortunately dropping down to 8th place by the end of lap 1. Norbert Kish was on a mission once again. He'd already got past Antonio Albacete and past Sasha Lenz, and was now chasing down the pack in front. Andre Kurzim would be the first target, as Norby went around the outside of turn 4, into turn 5 and 6, and then would get the manoeuvre made. Stefan Faas was picked off just next as they went on to the start-finish straight with a lovely cutback around turn 13, which meant while Norby was on the outside for turn 14, he'd have the inside line for turn 1. Andre Kurzim wanted a piece of this as well, as he also tried to get past Stefan Faas in the meantime. Norby then pulled the same move on Jochen Hahn, and would then go chasing down the race leader. It seemed Jochen was suffering with some sort of problem though, as he wasn't on the usual pace that we'd expect from the German, and Andre Kurzim was all over him like a rash. Louis Requenco had held on to the race lead though all this time in the Iveco, and Norbert in the MAN was certainly feeling outnumbered, but certainly not outgunned. It would only be a matter of corners though before Norby would strike and make his move, and down into turn 10, the big red MAN took the lead once more. He was right on the brink of doing the quadruple in one weekend, something we've not seen for many, many years. The fans were absolutely loving it though to see him emerge over the crest in the race lead, and the battle was now on behind to see who would claim the final podium spots. Norby only had eyes for the front of the field though, and soon disappeared over the horizon. Unfortunately, Louis Requenco fell by the wayside, which left Jochen Hahn and Andre Kurzim to battle it out for the remaining podium spots. Andre trying his very best to get back in front of Jochen after briefly being in second place. Jochen was doing everything right though, and defending where he needed to, and just making sure that he could open up a slight gap. But right at the front there was an even bigger gap, because Norbert Kish was on an absolute mission and did the almost unthinkable, taking 4 wins out of 4 this weekend at the Slovakia Ring. Everybody in absolute awe of his achievement. Amazing, amazing stuff.
Congratulations. What does the Grand Slam mean for you, Norbert Kish?
Yeah, it's great. It's something that we couldn't do with Travis Racing in the past 3 years, but this is the first time. We were very close many times here in the Slovakia Ring last year as well, but
over the course of that race now, they were not quite on lap record pace. They're 2:45s in that race, whereas the lap records are 2:42. Norbert Kish wins 8 laps covered, 3.7 seconds ahead of Jochen Hahn, who takes a very hard-fought second place. Andre Kurzim was in second for a lot of the race, but after the contact with Louis Requenco, he loses positions, but still gets an overall podium, which he'll be happy with. And John Newell gets a Promoters' Cup podium and finishes in 10th. Mark Taylor was 11th, and Louis Requenco finishes at the back of the grid. A real shame for the 2 drivers that started on the front row for that reverse grid race. And this is how the championship looks as we leave Slovakia Ring. Norbert Kish back on top on 96 points from Jochen Hahn on 81. Antonio Albacete is third with just 2 points less, 11 points clear of Sasha Lenz. Andre Kurzim going well in 5th position with a big gap back to the drivers behind. A little bit further down the order we've got Jonathan Andre, Mark Taylor and Louis Requenco all tied on 7 points. So the championship moves forward now to Poznan in Poland in 2 weeks' time. It's bound to be a fantastic round of the championship at a new venue, and we all look forward to seeing you there and hope you enjoy it just as much as I'm sure we all will as well.